The Club Max murder. It seemed to me that a careful examination of the room and the lawn might possibly reveal some traces of this mysterious individual. You know my methods, Watson. There was not one of them which I did not apply to the inquiry, and it ended by my discovering traces, but very different ones from those which I had expected. The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, 1893, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Oh no, is this another murder at Club Max? Well, the murder is not at Club Max, but those affected by the murder have links to Club Max. In this book, 4 of the Matthias Jones series Jones is dealing with. A Sherlock Holmes buff, Mr. Daniels and wild doings upstairs with a hooker, Gina Quintel and one of Jones's players who runs from the upstairs apartment after her murder. Having one of Jones's players, let alone his star player, Joe Svoboda dating and murdering a hooker markedly changes Jones's persona. He is definitely out of character, but he has a good reason. He is short-tempered and does anything to prove Joe Svoboda is innocent. But there is more upsetting Jones. Rumors abound that Gina Quintel is not just a woman working at Club Max for Cocoa Stefani, but Coco is running a prostitution ring either for the Boston Mafia or himself. The fact that Father Gallagher keeps cautioning Jones about the atmosphere at Club Max further exacerbates Jones' volatile attitude. There is yet a third force, more like a sniper in the bushes. Kip Bosco, a dirty Prince William vice cop, who taunts Jones so much in the courtroom that the judge bangs his gavel for order in the court. Even Clarence Moody, an arrogant, swanky underclassman and Joe Svoboda's roommate in the dorm, continuously lashes out enough to rattle Jones. Then Mr. Daniels, forever quoting Sherlock Holmes, inserts himself into the case. The annoying Daniels drives an antique Edsel and dresses, as Coco asserts, as Little Lord Fauntleroy. The pressure on Joe Svoboda after he is arrested, especially after Lieutenant Kevin Phillips' men find Svoboda's knife in a catch basin. Jones enters the Prince William jail as Joe Svoboda is screaming and threatening suicide. After days of trying to find Coco, Jones speaks with him, but Coco will not respond to the charges of Gina Quintel working prostitution for him. As a character and an integral part of the Jones plots, Coco cannot be a pimp. Coco being a pimp is like throwing nuts and bolts into the perfect cake mix. Having the alluring girls hang out in the club is one thing, but diminishing Coco's character destroys his credibility as Jones's friend. With Svoboda out of action, Jones must call up a scrawny quarterback, Larry Resnick. Resnick is not a gifted athlete like Joe Svoboda. He is a host/disc jockey at the campus radio station. There is a crazy night out at Club Max where most of his team celebrate a victory that afternoon. This is when Joe Svoboda meets Quintel. And during this wild night, many of the players have loosened up and are dropping comments that Jones will match up to the murder. And following Jones from his football practice to the streets of Prince William is a black lowrider. The windows are tinted, and the lowrider stays just far enough away to bother Jones. Coco is on the run for most of the Club Max murder, with accusations flying about his involvement with Gina Quintel. Also involved with Quintel is Kip Bosco, seen entering Quintel's apartment on many occasions. This investigation is not just the usual tedious gathering of information and stitching the evidence together. The added closeness of Jones to his star player is taxing. Daniel's full-time entry into studying the minutiae of the case merely puts him like a blockade in front of Jones. Coco's complicity in the case is not what Jones had anticipated. Like Holmes, Jones's attention to detail leads him not just to the murder, but to a direct confrontation with the murderer. Of note in the Club Max murder is the appearance of characters former coach Lark Larson, security cop Bucky Driscoll, and everyone's most annoying individual Arnie Dewars. As the series progresses, their antics and the importance to the plot becomes more visible. The Club Max Murder by Robert P. Fitton is sold at Amazon in paperback, and the audiobook is available at Audible. There are times you know the worst has happened without anyone telling you. My heart was racing, my palms were beginning to sweat. I knew my nightmare was beginning again. Only this time, I was wide awake. Thomas Magnum,